Alright, welcome back everybody. This is David with Faramir's Rangers. Yeah, it's been a hot minute since we've done our France campaign, but now that we've taken Rhineland back, it's time to go ahead and get Amsterdam back as well. And hopefully then we can let these two regions rebel and make them protectorates. That's the plan, Stan. Sadly, the Spanish have been killing off all the rebels, not making it easy. Anyway, let's look at what we've done so far. So you can see us in the white. So we currently have 8 protectorates and, yeah, 8 trade partners because they all pretty much trade with us. And you can see just all the different nations where they kind of stand. Feel free to pause at any given moment so you can see what the holdings are of these said nations. Now, Russia is surprisingly having all kinds of difficulties, and we haven't even gotten to them yet with their neighbors. But don't worry, we'll soon be amongst the Russians here before long. But at the moment, you can see we have a firm hold on the Italian peninsula, and we're starting to carve into Central Europe. And it's doing the intern. I believe this is the final turn before 1720. So we'll see what the Prussians can muster, as we've laid a couple pretty good defeats to the Prussians at this moment. And it looks like the Russians are still having problems with Sweden. And yeah, we'll see what we can get done here on the next turn. Maratha is quickly building up a pretty big force, and I have no idea what Louisiana's doing there. But apparently they got an army going to Italy. Hey, you know, if they want to help out some way, all the means, please go and do it. Because, I mean, pretty much the Americas are in pretty good shape. We have pretty much most of the Americas under our control or our protectorates. But there is the United States we're going to have to deal with here at some point. So we got that going on. You can see where we've what we've accomplished with tech. And like I said, feel free to pause the video at any moment so you can have a greater detail look at where we're at. I'm not going to spend too much time wasting your minds for those that don't want to dwell on that. But you can see, again, we want Württemberg and we want Rhineland to rebel so that we can force them into protectorate status, because that's what this campaign is all about. We're trying to become the world leader of protectorates. This is a challenge, if you will, to gain the most protectorates that we possibly can gain. So we've now got two pretty good centralized armies with the Houston's army, and we got another one over here around Württemberg. And these two armies are going to cause tremendous problems for the Prussians, but hopefully the Prussians aren't going to cause too many problems for us to allow these two regions to become protectorates, as they did the last time. And you can see here we are pretty much ready to launch an assault on Austria itself, as we have taken Croatia with our good man Claude and his army. So I think it's time to go ahead and lay siege to Austria itself, so we can prepare to put Austria in a protectorate mode here fairly soon. So we'll lay them to siege and, yeah, see what goes down. Now we do have our spy. We want to get him up to Bohemia and see what's going on over there. You can see our other spy has a good grasp of the situation in Transylvania, so we know exactly what we're dealing with the Austrians. Now, we're going to go ahead and click another intern, and the Austrians are going to try and sally out. So, this will be an interesting little battle. Let's see what the Austrians can hold. Obviously, they have more men than us because of their lines have 30 more men per line than ours. Not saying that their quality is very good, because Austrian lines quality is pretty poor. Alright, so as with any siege assault or siege defense, as we are defending our sieging position, sadly the AI kind of sets up through the walls, and obviously we're not using artillery in this campaign. So what we're doing is we are trying to escalate the Austrians to sally forth, so that this doesn't become a 20-hour battle as they sometimes can. So we got one of our cav behind to knock out the artillery, because our carabiners had caused a distraction, but sadly we didn't get the cannon men off their guns, and they get a pretty darn good canister shot in the back of us and take a pretty good percentage of us down. But that disruption does give us enough time to get our infantry forward, and I believe we can now set up to destroy this wing of their army, as their cav that had come forth is going to get blasted down by our carabiners. And yeah, we're now starting to get volleys in on the Austrian right, our left, and we are going to set up falling line formation on our right, because obviously we're dealing with a little bit more than what we can handle on the right flank, and we're setting up for cav attacks on our right as well. And here you can see that we are starting to whittle down the left of our formations here, and what we're going to do is we're going to now start sending in our reserve lines, and we're going to look to kind of maneuver ourselves in a position, because you can see they're getting reinforced quite heavily in the center. So what we're going to do is we're going to work to put as many lines as we can to help with that, because we should break their the right of the Austrians here pretty quickly. As you can see, our carabiners are lighting up the flank. We're going to push them in a little closer. We got our cav now free behind, and you can see we're doing some really good damage here in the center, but we don't want to take too much damage ourselves. But it's time to go ahead and send up some grenadiers to start lightening the load on our lines. We're going to send one line up as a screen for our grenadiers. And we're still waiting on this cav to try to make a charge, so we got to provide some defensive barrier against that. And you can see we're starting to break the right, so we're going to look to start to wrap up the right flank here. Now go in our grenadiers. That line did kind of push back a little bit, so unfortunately we're not going to get as much line support for our grenadiers as we would like, so they get a nice little volley on our grenadiers right away. But we're going to start to quickly rapid fire grenade their little butts as quickly as we possibly can. And you can see we getting some really good grenade volleys on them. And that line will be made short work of in no time. Boy, they are taking a beating right there. You gotta love grenadiers, man. They can just destroy units so fast, and that's going to cause a chain rout for their units here in the center as they are starting to waver. Yeah, the right is now pretty much wrapped up, and we got one line there and one more Austrian line in reserve, so the right is under really good shape for us, and we can start running down some of these lines. And yeah, this one is pretty much done. The Austrians put up a pretty nice little fight here. This became quite interesting. It's way more interesting than just using artillery and sitting back and going to sleep in the battle. And yeah, the Austrian cav just was afraid because of our the way we rolled our right flank. They never got a charge in. They didn't want to charge us in the back. Alright, so here it is. We put a pretty devastating loss on him. Our boy Claude, he knows how to command the forces here, I must say. Very nicely done. Very nicely done indeed. Okay, so we can kind of take a little deeper look at to see how well our units did. I do want to see how well the Grenadiers did. Gosh, I just got to see. I did lose 30 of them on one unit of Grenadiers, but you can see that one Grenadier, let's see where it is. He got 87 kills, did lose 30 men, but that's a pretty good ratio considering, unfortunately, they did get a volley on me right before I got my first grenade throw. You know, like I said, unfortunately, playing the AI, you never know where their line's going to go. Even though I did have a line screening for me that got kind of taken out of the equation. So, yeah, losing those Grenadiers we did, you know, pretty darn good damage, I'd say. Anyways, Austria, yeah, they're going to try and come forward with another army. Not many men, so we're just going to auto-resolve and send them packing. We did lose 92 men, which is more than I expected. But it's an auto-resolve. So Austria has barely anything left in their garrison in Austria itself. So we should be able to take that. It doesn't look like the Prussians are going to mount much of a attack. But then when I say that, yeah, no. They don't. Alright, Poland-Lithuania has laid siege to Hungary. Guess they are Hungary. And it looks like they might take that from them. So Austria is in pretty big disarray. I have no idea what Sweden's doing. Speaking of having no idea, Louisiana is another nation. It looks like they're actually going after the Plains nations. I don't know. They're certainly not taking enough men to do it if that's what their game plan is. Alright. There's all of our Protectorate's moves in the Americas. Like I said, we do have the United States that we're going to have to deal with or contend with at some point. The Barbary States, you're definitely not getting peace. You're definitely not. Alright, so trade route rated, that's whatever. Alright. And here we go. A couple buildings constructed. We got a new town. And we can look to see about what would be best. I think we're doing really good on our public order. So we're going to build a college there Why not? Alright. That's going to obviously hurt our public order, but it's going to give us a little more knowledge, if you will. At least for a little bit. And then we'll get rid of the college. And yeah, let's just go ahead and auto-resolve this. They only got 2 cav units. Of course, they won't surrender. We end up losing 15 men out of that. I have no idea how, but we did. So, Austria has now become our region. Vienna is ours. Alright. And so that leaves Austria with only Hungary, Bohemia, and Transylvania left. And obviously Hungary is under siege by the Polish-Lithuanian forces. So we will continue to see if we can lay some pretty good devastation to them. Now we do have some concerns with this Prussian army. I don't want them slipping past me. So we're going to have to deal with them. They've got a few units that are pretty good shape. So let's go ahead and get rid of them. Alright, so let's push forward. We're going to actually have 2 push flanks here, and we're just going to hold with the center of 3 units. So we got a pretty sizable flanking force, if you will. So I'm going to kind of let this battle go unedited so you can see how I maneuver up as they got 1 cav coming forward. Hopefully that line gets set up. We'll just go ahead and square them out. Get the other line set to shoot them. And the rest of the lines can continue on their way. My guys are a little slowish right here. Got right into my Bulkleys. Went into my favorite unit. They make short work of them. Only lost 4. Alright. Time to continue on the path. So let me know in the comments below what's your favorite tactic and what you prefer to do the most in campaign battles. I know most people prefer using artillery. So just kind of let me know in the comments below what your favorite method is. Your methodology, if you will. Looks like we're going to have a pretty easy go of enveloping them. Now we can just kind of push forward and get this encirclement complete. We just want to make sure that we mostly hit them at the same time. Alright. We got a couple of our units starting to wrap for the encirclement. We can push up and I didn't see this. The cav got into me. Should be no problem. Okay. So you can kind of see how this envelopment is going to go down pretty easily right now, I would think. Since they're full, we'll go ahead and push forward in the front. Thing is, with these hilly terrains, you got to really pay attention to your line of sight for shooting, because you don't want to shoot the hill. So we got to crest over the hill. Got to get him out of square too. Get him on in there. Alright, so this circle is almost there. Gonna bring the cav around since they're the most mobile units to complete the circle. And we're starting to volley in on them. They don't know where the hell to go because we're coming at them from every direction. Yeah, this is my favorite tactic versus AI. Really confuses them pretty well. It's not just that, it's also the morale drops. Now that they're going to suffer pretty heavy morale drops due to the fact that they're surrounded. Should be easier for them to break. And now we'll just keep crunching the circle forward. Alright, so this one's pretty much coming to a conclusion. So, again, don't forget to let me know in the comments. I am curious to know what your favorite tactics are. What you feel that you use works the best. We all do different things. It's good to know other people's ideas. One more unit to break and it's over with. Alright, that pretty much does it there. He is pretty much done now. He's going to break. Kind of surprised he lasted that long. Alright, so not a bad victory. Did lose a few men. And that one is that. Dunner. Goner, whatever. And now we should be able to get Württemberg to rebel. There is another Prussian unit coming over. Then we can hopefully push on to Bavaria after we get that done. Kind of surprised that Lithuania hadn't finished off Hungary yet. It's kind of surprising. And of course Spain's going to go there and keep the Dutch from winning back United Provinces for me. So I guess I'll never have them get into an actual rebellion so we can make them a protectorate. Way to go, Spain. Way to go. And it won't be long before we're going to have to turn our attention to Spain as well. Just keep that in mind, because even though they're an ally, they're going to eventually attack one of our protectorates, so we're going to have to be prepared for that. That's coming sooner than later. Obviously, after we have Prussia knocked out, that should be a little easier task to get done. And we'll have to turn our attention to the Americas again, of course, because Spain controls Texas to Mexico and a portion of South America as well. Alright, so that brings that to a conclusion. And we got our rebellion coming, and also in the Hessians. So 3 rebellions. That's nice to see. So hopefully we can get them converted over to protectorates here this next episode. I don't know what the heck is going on with Poland and Lithuania. Maybe they signed a peace, because they got nobody there. There's a little Austrian army. So we'll have to investigate that, see what's going on there. Some tomfoolery, if you will. But needless to say, we have things pretty well under control. So I think this is a good spot to end this episode. We will pick it up on the next one. Don't forget to hit that like button and the subscribe button, as it does help the channel and it lets me know that you care. So we will see you on the next one for our next part of the France campaign. Thanks again, guys.